Hello everyone, this is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
In recognition of great African American achievers, this Black History Month, let's bring our A game.
Hey Crimsonites, how you doing? So I was gonna spend a really long time on this today, but I gotta go get my car. Like, I just got the phone call right before, said the car was ready. I didn't want to not do the show, you know what I mean? Thank you, Miss Sherry. I didn't want to not do the show or push it back so far just because I was going to get the car. But I'm not going to be able to do 2 hours and stuff like that because they'll be closed by that time, and I need my car for tomorrow. So who we got? We got Jim Johnson, we got C, we got, what up, Demetrius? We got Malika, Kalila, Quentin, Miss Sherry, June is on, Sage of the Lotus. How is everybody on this fine Friday? We good? Because I don't know how much these Ubers is going to cost going over there. These Ubers they high. It's cool when I'm driving, but it ain't cool when I'm riding, you know? Hey, Otho. Oh my God. If I was to go right now to catch that Uber, it would cost me $60. I just checked out of curiosity. $60 for an Uber ride that take 10 minutes. It would take me, no, not 10 minutes. It'd take about 15 minutes to get over there. 60. Now, mind you, as an Uber driver, I wouldn't get that 60. Uber is kind of price gouging at this moment. Because a ride like that, I've never gotten $60 for a ride like that. And at the height of a surge, I've never gotten that. But the rider will be charged that. I would probably get about 30 of that. And then Uber would get the rest of that. I wouldn't get that. I barely get that going from here to the airport. I might not get that then. I might get like $40. But I know that they were probably charged 60. 70. Yeah. It's $70. The Uber driver does not get that money. Let me just repeat that. As the Uber driver, we don't get that money. That $70 you spend, we probably getting about 45 of that. Like, that's absolutely crazy. Like, that's crazy. Oh, and as Uber drivers, we don't get any discounts either. We don't get discounts. Let me see if I can. This one is, I just do. See, you got to go out and come back in. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Because what I want to do, thank you, LA Quinn. That is too much for a ride. Usually I have to drive somebody about an hour or more to get $60. Yeah, you have to be riding with me for quite some time. Or there's a $20 surge on a ride that was regularly about $30 anyway. And we were still driving about a good 45 minutes, close to an hour. Okay, so I changed the title. How to be a wife, not a married girlfriend. This has been on my mind the last few days. It's been on my mind to talk about the work of wives. I've talked about this before. I have a whole marriage series. Yesterday I touched on the nature of men and women. And how we weren't really cut out to have our own complete autonomy. It's not that we don't have any, but I kind of was touching on how women of the past did not have complete autonomy over their lives from cradle to death. As children, of course, they were bound by their parents and their family. And then once they were ready to be married and married off, she was bound by her husband. So her father judged the trajectory of her young life, and her husband set the trajectory of her adult life. So at no point, for the most part, did women have the right to say, I want my life to be like this. She had to have her life how her father said her life should go. And then when she got married to her husband, she had her life go the way her husband said it should go. And to modern women, that is crazy. That's a crazy thing. How dare you say that women don't have, or that it was right for women not to be able to say what their life should be like, and that only the men in her life had any say over what she did in her life, so that she didn't really have autonomy in it. And this is why good leadership was pushed right alongside that, because this woman has her life in your hands in a very literal sense. The Most High made it a stringent thing for men to be just and not be tyrants in the situation. You see? And of course, I'm coming from my own spiritual base. You may come from yours, whatever yours dictates to you. Please take this however it resonates. I know that everyone does not believe or think the same thing that I do, which is okay. But hopefully there's more common ground than it is not common ground. Exactly, Georgia Peace, I think it was designed that way. Women were not meant to function alone. This is exhausted. And it is exhausting. Our biology is set up in such a way that women have always needed men for their survival. But men do not need women for their survival, right? They don't need that. They've never needed a woman to hunt for them or protect them or provide for them or to do anything other than procreate with them. Other than that, men are largely self-sufficient and women are not necessary to his survival in like the world and life, right? Now, if you want to talk about internally, his internal world, women become more of a necessity there because it helps bring balance to things. Hey, Father's Time. It helps bring balance to things. Hey, Fifth Feminine, and everybody that's joining. Hey, Bishop. It brings balance to things, right? Women bring a balance to his inner world. And I've said this before. Men are designed to build and maintain the external concrete world. Women are not built for this. We don't really have what it takes to do that. But conversely, men are not really designed to caretake the inner abstract world. That's our wheelhouse as women. That's where we shine. And that's really where our work is. Because a lot of times, especially in this day and age, women are given these fairy tale fantasy expectations about what a marriage should be, what they should do in it, and what men should do in it. And as feminists and gynocrats, many women don't believe that they have any particular role that they need to fulfill in the marriage in order to make the marriage work. And that all of the work is on him. All of the onus is on him to do all of the work to make the marriage go and be peaceful and be successful. And really that comes in the form of him serving her interests completely, 100%. And the expectations are high, that he never has a moment where he slips. He never has a moment where it's imperfect. He never has a moment where, you know, things aren't quite going exactly the way she thinks they should go, and, you know, different things of that nature. Hey, AL. So these false expectations lead to a lot of bad marriages and the disillusion of a lot of marriages where they don't have to be. And I find that a lot of this is due to, like many other things that feminism takes away from women, takes away the understanding of that position of being a wife. The position and the work of being a wife begins after the wedding, not before. Before was the interview and the audition. The work begins after you're hired. And you're hired at the wedding. The wedding is the hiring ceremony. After that is where the real work comes in. And women do not understand things like peacefulness, conflict resolutions. They don't understand things like serving. All of these things are made to seem foreign or diminishing or demeaning or weak or stupid or whatever derogatory word you want to put to that. Feminism has made sure that women think along those lines, that women think and believe and function as though the status of a wife is some sort of pedestal where the guy serves her. And this could not be further from the truth. This is very far from the truth. The first thing to understand is that marriages are work on both parties, not just one. Our work just looks different than their work. Feminism also have women out here thinking that their work is the same, that she is on equal footing with him if she brings in as much money or more, if she has as many degrees or more, if she, works in a certain field, or even though if she looks a certain way, that puts her on equal footing. But today is going to be some hard truths. Hold on. I think I'm done with my sneezing. Excuse me, please. I don't know where it's coming from. I apologize. So, it might be my allergies, I'm not sure. So, thank you. Bringing, quote unquote, to the table the exact same things that he's bringing to the table only proves that you think in a masculine way. You think in a masculine way. You think that doing the same exact things that he's doing makes you equal. That would only be so if you were a man. If you were a man coming to another man to be partners in a business, thank you, Sherrod, to be partners in a business, then you coming with the same amount of money, the same level of experience and expertise, the same level of networks or this or that, and you make a business proposal to him and say, I would like to go into business with you, and these are my credentials. These are the things that I'm bringing to, let you know that I'm a capable partner to go into this business with. That is masculine, but that's okay because it's one man talking to another about a partnership. So then that would put you on equal footing. Okay, I'm a businessman. I've got this. I've got that. I've got this. You're bringing this, this, and this. Yeah, we can make that deal. We can make it happen. I'm pretty sure it'll be successful as well. I got the connects over here. You got the connect over there. We can do this. And yeah, and it can be projected this way and that way. We can make this kind of money. We only need to do it for a year. Yeah, we can get this up and running. It shouldn't be too many problems. I'll check into this way and that way. You check into this thing and that thing. We make sure everything is okay. Make sure we got the paperwork. Make sure we got all the legalese taken care of. No reason why we can't make money. But those are two men talking. Problem is, you want to do that with your man and you're not a man. Because you want these partnerships. But you don't even bring what's necessary for a partnership anyway. Better yet, you want followership. You want a man to follow what you're doing. You want him to follow you. You want him to get on your program like Dwayne Wade did with Gabrielle Union. He sat there and said that he tried to instill some type of leadership. She was like, boop, boop, boop. And then when she said boop one too many times, he acquiesced and went into beta position, and she went into alpha position. And he was like, well, you know, I got on her program, of basically what he said. And it's like, come on. Come on. This is a sad thing to watch. But he spoke true. He spoke true. I'm glad you said that, C. Hey there, Dr. Michelle. C says, so often women think all we do is cook, clean, and sleep together. I'm still learning the intangibles and the art of being a wife. The needs are constantly changing. And they are. The needs do change because you grow older, you mature, situations, circumstances, and conditions change. These things go. You have the peaks and the valleys. In a marriage, there are peaks and valleys. Now, hopefully there's more peaks than valleys, but you learn who you are as a wife in the valley, not the peak. You learn who you are, and he learns who you are as a wife in the valley, not the peak. So you got to be able to go into the valley and be okay and get to the next peak in one piece. What's the valley? The valley are the difficult times. The times where it's not, you know, a Disney song playing. The times where, you know, the storm clouds have gathered. Then you see what you're made of as a woman, as a wife. And when you get into that valley and you don't know anything about resolving issues, you don't know anything about keeping peace, you don't know anything about acquiescing. When you go into the valley and you think that bowing down is a weakness for you, when you get into the valley and all your gynocratic teaching come up about how you don't need to be in this with no dude that can't do this and he ain't doing that and blah, blah, blah. When that microwave situation come up where I need instant gratification on these things, I'm not getting what I want, so screw it. When you get into the valley and you'd rather be right than have peace, too concerned about what you think is right. Today gonna be some hard truths. Because a lot of them times, it don't matter if you're right. Some of them times you are gonna be right. You gonna be right. It ain't like you ain't never gonna be right. You gonna be right. You sure are. And then, after you right, the next question is, who cares? Who cares if you're right? Did your being right bring peace? Did it? First lesson in being a wife: overlook your husband's shortcomings. Overlook them. You done already married him now. You should have known what his shortcomings were. Overlook them. Very rare that a man come out of a bag that you didn't know he was in. That's very rare. Overlook your husband's shortcomings because he has them. So what? So do you. Your shortcomings is your trouble. That's your trouble. He looked at that and said, I can overlook this and that and that. It's not too bad. Overlook your husband's shortcomings. Don't bring to him all of the things that you think are his shortcomings because you knew it before. And if it was intolerable, you should have left before there was a marriage. You should have said in the whole dating process, you should have said, baby, I can't, I love you, or I feel this way, I feel that way, but I think we ought to part ways because you do this and you do that, and I can't take it. You should have done that prior to the marriage. But you're in it now, so now the stakes are higher now. And you don't get to complain about every little thing that you think you see. Now you got to be quiet. Because you don't want him saying something about every little thing he see. You don't want him saying that, yeah, I don't know why he won't accept me. Because you don't accept yourself and you don't accept him. Boop, be quiet. Boop. I can't stress enough, overlook your husband's shortcomings. Stop comparing him to other men that you think are better. Because if they were better and you thought you could get them, you should have been over there with them. Stop trying to compare your husband to other men that you think is better than him. Because if they were really better than him and you thought you had a shot to go get them, you should have been over there instead of over here in his face. So be quiet. Because even if the case was that some other guy you knew of was better than him, you didn't have the chops. Hello? To get him. Now be quiet. So we're going to overlook his shortcomings. What does that look like on the ground? If he do or say something or he has some habits that you don't like, you know what you do about them? You know what you do? Nothing. Nothing. You do nothing. You don't make a face. You don't make a comment. You don't get to try to make him feel bad about it. You don't use shaming language. You do nothing. You completely ignore it. Now, if you got a good relationship, you might be able to make a few jokes about something. that he does, because he probably gonna make some jokes about something you're doing. That's all lighthearted and in fun, and you still overlooking it because you're not allowing these petty small things to become these big things that work against the foundation of the relationship and the marriage. See, overlooking the shortcomings allows love to flourish in the place of resentment. When you don't overlook the shortcomings, we have a tendency as women to begin to focus on that which is potentially negative. Even if it is not a big thing, we will do it even if it's a small thing. And we will begin to ignore all of the good that he's actually bringing to us and to this relationship. Thank you, Abraham Teese. I love you, sis. Masterclass in a Lost Art of Marriage. Thank you so much. Not overlooking his shortcomings incentivizes us to only focus on that which we perceive to be negative, which will cause us then to ignore that which is positive and beneficial that he's bringing to us, to this relationship, to this marriage. Thank you, my love is divine. This is why you overlook the shortcoming, because you want love to flourish between you, not hatred, not resentment. This is on you as a woman, because we are the ones that manage the energy in the household. But if you managing all negative energy, the energy gonna be negative. If you manage the positive energy, the energy will be positive. So when you see something and it's, I don't really like that he do that. Something petty. I don't like when he leave his socks in the bathroom. It's silly. It's silly. Just go pick the socks up. If it bother you, go get them. If he gets in the bathroom and he spent an hour in there showering and shaving and whatever he doing, and it be muggy in there, when instead of arguing with him, why don't you open the window? Why don't you? Instead of doing that, wait till he done, go in the bathroom and crack the window. You just spared yourself an argument for no reason. Go in there and crack the window. Let it air out and then clean it up. What's the problem? It's one thing that you have to learn as a wife, how to resolve the issues without bringing the issue to him. Think about what you can do to resolve whatever you think is an issue without actually ever mentioning anything to him. Because he doesn't have time to think about all of that. You're thinking about it. And that's fine, because you're in the house. You're doing day-to-day stuff. You're in the mix of every single thing in the house. Cleaning, cooking, putting the stuff up. You're handling all the little details. And that's fine. It's fine for you to think about the little details because you're handling them. But he's not. He's not. He's not in the bathroom thinking about it's muggy in here and she gonna have a hard time cleaning it. No, he's thinking about, let me get ready. Because I done woke up a little about 10 minutes late. I gotta get ready. I gotta hurry up. Because I got some stuff to do later on. And then later on, I gotta come back. I gotta blah, blah, blah. That's what he's thinking about. He's not thinking about your domestic issues. Guess what else? He don't want to hear about them. They not his problem. That's your problem. You got to think about what you can do to resolve without bringing it to him. Because then you become the nag. If you got to say everything, you got to always run your mouth. Now you're the nag. Nobody likes the nag. Because when you start nagging, now you're putting it in a position where he got to do stuff that you say. This is not counsel. This is instruction. And you don't give your husband instruction. You can give him counsel, but you don't give him instruction. There's a difference, a huge difference. Everything that go on in that house ain't his issue. That's your issue. Because that's your domain. The house is the nest. That's up to you to keep it in order. You want to run something? Run the nest. There's plenty to do. Part of running that nest is to make it peaceful as possible. He don't really care how you achieve that peace. Just achieve it. Conflict resolution. Huge. Huge because a lot of women don't take accountability for anything. They don't take responsibility for anything. And they don't feel like they should have any consequences for anything either. You don't want to be treated like children, but you get into a marriage and get real helpless. Now he gotta poo-poo and tutu and, get you and, well, baby, is it all right? What are you, 2? But you want to be the leader? I ain't never had to change the leader's diapers. No. You're not the leader. Now, sometimes he's going to be attentive. If he see you kind of moping around and you're not yourself, might come ask, well, baby, what's going on? If it's something for real, you need to be able to articulate that. If it ain't nothing that he really can do, you probably need to be able to articulate that. Nothing wrong with saying, it's just me, I'm in my emotions, woman stuff. It's okay. I'll be okay. Thank you for asking about me. I appreciate that, baby. But I'll be okay. You sure? Yes. I'll be okay. I'm quick. When I know it's just some chaos here, because I'm a woman and that's what I do. Sometimes I wake up on the edge of the chaotic abyss. Ain't nothing that he can do about that. It ain't nothing. So I'm gonna send him on a fool's errand to try to figure that out? No. I'm just gonna tell him, it's okay, baby. I'll be okay. Thank you. I appreciate you asking about me, baby. Mwah. Thank you. I'll be okay. You sure? Because I am going to be okay. Give me about 10 minutes. Let me go in the bathroom and, get myself together. I'm going to come out and I'm going to cook breakfast and stuff. I'm going to be all right. When there's something real, what is something real? Something real is when something is going on and I know that if it continue to go on in this manner, I'm not going to be able to function properly as your wife. I can't do it. That calls for conversations. What are conversations? Conversations as opposed to arguments. As opposed to arguments. Arguments are not conversations. Arguments are fights. Conversation is conversation. That's when you enter into communication with your husband, calm, even if it is an emotionally triggering thing, calm. Because if you come not calm, he can't hear you. He can't hear you. If you come with a fight, he's gonna fight. He can't hear the concern underneath the fight. So our job as wives is to get through whatever part of that we think we want to fight about and not do that. Get down into what the real issue is, so that I can communicate with him in a way that actually resolves the issues. That means sitting down. Pray before if you have to. For those of us who pray first. Sometimes you might not even need to have the conversation if you first have a conversation with your Lord. Now we getting into something I don't think a lot of folk want to get into. It's been a lot of times I thought, I got to tell him this. I want to talk to him. I got to talk to him. Let me pray. I take the moment, and prayer for us is an entire thing. We go, we wash. That's to get the heat out. The heat of anger if you're mad. The heat of the energy of Shaitan in here, the negative, the heat, get it out. Take a moment, go somewhere quiet. If you got to put the kids down, or if they watching TV or something like that, reading or something. It only take a minute. Go and make dua, make prayer to your Lord. Ask for things like clarity. If I must say something to my husband, give me the words that I need to say to him. Show me what I need to be doing in this situation in order to make the situation better, not worse. Cry if you got to. Because God ain't going to judge you or tell you stop crying or tell you stop feeling what you're feeling or none of that. Cry if you got to. I have done that plenty of times. More times than I can count. Go somewhere in a corner and just cry my eyes out because that's the emotion right at that moment. If I do it in front of him, he's not going to understand that. He's not going to know why I'm crying. I'm not going to be able to tell him why. Let me get all of that out of me. So now I can think. That helped me work through my emotional filter. Now I can start thinking about it with some clarity. Sometimes when I got done with that, I didn't need to talk to him. Because I had gotten it out. All that I needed to do was be a wife after that. That's all I needed to do. If you do all of that and you still feel the need to communicate with your husband, there's a way to do that. If you come humble, he'll listen. Sit down. Take his hand in your hand. Look him in his eyes and speak softly. Tell him you love him. Tell him you appreciate the things that he does. And then express to him, I feel like this because of this. This happened and it made me feel this way. I don't like feeling this way. I just want to get back to the regular stuff. But I had to bring this to you because I felt like if I couldn't say this or I couldn't get it off my chest, then, I didn't want to act different with you. I didn't want you wondering why I was acting different or moping around or feeling sad. Nine times out of 10, he gonna hear that. Especially if it's legit. He gonna hear it. He gonna try to figure out especially if it's something that can practically be corrected. He gonna say okay. Because most of the time, for us women, most of the time, we just want to be heard. See, a good woman, a real woman, she just want to be considered. She just want to be heard. She ain't got to be right. He ain't got to do what she say. I just want him to sit for a minute and hear me out. After he hear me out, it's done. It's done. Ain't nothing else. That's all it is. Stop using that as an excuse to argue with him. Stop using your hurt feelings or whatever it is as a reason to get in his face and argue because you don't need it. Because when you get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on, you just either want to be heard or you want some reassurances. That's all you want. You want to be heard or you want a reassurance about something. So say that. But stop saying it in a disrespectful way. You ain't got, because he ain't gonna hear none of that. If you come with a fight, he gonna fight. Stop always looking for the worst possible outcome for things. None of y'all don't want to work and do nothing to make sure that this marriage work. You think he's supposed to do everything. He's supposed to mind read. He's supposed to come in, give you the 4 P's, give you this, give you that, and you don't put forth any effort to actually make sure that this marriage is working. You just think you put 100% of it on his back. When you supposed to be helping, that means help make the marriage work. Help. You help. Stop flying off the handle for every little thing. Stop being insecure about every little thing. He ain't call you, he ain't text you this way or that way. Now you feeling some type of way. Ain't nobody got time for that. You got to do your own work. What happened to your spiritual value? What happened to your value system? You supposed to have one on your own. You making problems and making waves when you ain't got to make problems and waves. You don't have to. But all of this insecurity and all of this other stuff come from just not understanding who you are and who he is and how you supposed to come together to fulfill each other. Listen, let me tell you something. The purpose of the marriage, I'm going to tell y'all the purpose of the marriage is to help each other succeed in this life and the next life. That's the purpose. You can take that however you want to take that to the bank. Take it with a grain of salt. I know some people don't believe in certain spiritual things. I'm not trying to call you out and say nothing about that. All I'm saying is the purpose of the union is to achieve success in this life and the next life. I'm supposed to be trying to help my husband get to paradise. And he's supposed to be helping me do the same thing. That's the purpose. The purpose of the marriage ain't to make me happy. That's a byproduct of a good marriage. everybody getting their fulfillment is a byproduct. And you're supposed to be getting your fulfillment because we are fulfilling each other's rights. He has rights over you in this relationship. And you got rights over him too. You got rights. Thank you, Jeremy. Peace be unto you as well. We supposed to be helping each other. That means I gotta look out. Me. We ain't talking about what his job is. We talking about what our job is. I gotta look out for his well-being, for his safety, for his spiritual good, for his physical good, for his emotional good, for his mental good. Me. That's my job. My job is to make sure that if we following the Most High, we following it. My job is to make sure that the spirituality of the home is upkept. My job is to make sure that he don't have unnecessary stress added by me, added by what's going on in the home, added by what's going on with the kids, if I can at all help it. My job is to make sure that when he walked through that door, it is a safe haven and a soft landing for him. He got to be safe with me. Or else, what am I doing? See, a lot of y'all think that when I talk about how you supposed to come to your husband, this and that, well, you just don't want nobody to say nothing. That's not true. Stop always thinking you either got to be disrespectful or completely quiet. No, the Most High gave you a mouth. You just got to learn how to use it. Because I know for me personally, I'm a bottler. I'm going to bottle all my emotions up. And now some people say that's not healthy. I can understand that, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bottle it. If it ain't poo-poo tutu, I love you, baby, you mean the more to me, I'm probably not going to tell him what my emotions are. If I perceive them as negative, he probably not going to know about them. I take my stuff to the Lord. Me and Allah can figure it out. Now, you may not take yours to Allah. Maybe you take yours to the yoga mat. Maybe you take yours to meditation. Maybe you, I don't know, and I'm not judging where anybody takes their stuff. But there's work to be done. as a wife, not a live-in girlfriend, not a committed, you think everything called for you to leave. I know my worth. Actually, you don't. You don't know your job. You supposed to know your job. Saying things like be a helpmeet and stuff like that. You gotta know what that really means on the ground every day. Too many of y'all think y'all just supposed to lay up on your back all day. That's not the full duty of a wife. That's only part of it. And some of you don't want to do that. You get so comfortable that you don't want to do that. How you don't even want to do that? Then don't want him to go nowhere else to get his needs met. Knock it off. Thank you, C. Said much love and respect, Lioness. Being a wife is a high honor and your teaching is so helpful. No problem. He got with you so you can help him do what? You supposed to be the eyes on the ground. That's what you supposed to be doing. You supposed to be managing things on the ground. That's your job. He provides you this nice home and, you know, give you the provision so you don't got to worry about how you going to eat and how you going to pay rent and how you going to pay the car note and how you going to pay the light bill and all that kind of stuff. He's already provided that. So that's a load off of you. So he's doing provision to take the load off of you of how you gonna live. Now your job is to ensure that both of y'all live. Because a weight and a stress has been removed from you. This is the stress that uncovered women have to deal with. How we gonna eat, how we gonna pay rent, how we gonna pay light bills, how we gonna pay gas bills, how we gonna do this and do that and do this and do that. You get married and a man actually give you these things, that took a whole load off of your shoulders, did it not? Now you think once the load get took off your shoulders, you supposed to prop up and not do nothing and he got to kiss your feet? No. No. Because he took that stress off of you, that's why you gotta work. That's why you gotta work. That's where your work is. Because you gotta do this. Not only do you have to pass the vetting process prior to the marriage, do you understand that you got to pass this process all during the marriage? You realize that this is a continuous process. You got to not only be worthy enough to be married, you got to be worthy enough to stay. You got to constantly be worth his time. You got to constantly be worth the toll. You got to constantly keep that level of trouble in check. You got to constantly keep them threats off the table. This is constant on your end, not his, yours. This is your work. This is your job, to be consistently worth his time at all times. To be consistently worth his toll because he's consistently paying the toll. To be consistently not trouble. If he has resolved the issues, let them stay resolved. Why are you bringing up new issues? If you remove the threat on the off the table in order to get married, don't you dare put one back on there. Don't you dare put one back on there. Sitting around doing goofy stuff, making ultimatums, and I just leave. Don't threaten me with a good time, go. Because don't nobody want to hear that either. Nobody wants to hear that either. You got a bunch of rules and ultimatums. Nobody got time for that, because this makes resentment in the relationship. It does not foster love and care and concern and peace. It does not. It fosters chaos and trouble and resentment and hatred and upheaval. And the reason why you gotta constantly keep up with this is because you want him to constantly do this without fail. That's what you want. That's what you want. So you gotta constantly be worthy to get it. You don't get to stop being worthy and he just gotta keep going. No. That's not how any of this works. This is your work. This is your job. You're the one. You're the one that needs to keep up. Too many of you get too comfortable. Well, I ain't got to do this, and I already got him, girl. And you don't got nobody. You don't have anybody. A real woman knows she don't got her husband. She don't got him. Because when you talk about, well, I got him, that means there was some type of trap that was sprung. Now you got him. No. When we talk about real women, we don't got our husbands. He has us. It's the other way around. He has you. You don't have anything. The only thing you have after that is a job to do. Thank you, Tariq, for the cash out. Dark Power, thank you. Darko Polo, thank you. Sherrod, thank you so much. MLR, thank you as well for the cash apps. I'm sorry that I'm late getting to them. My apologies. Ronan, thank you so much. The only thing you got is a job. Being a good wife is one of the most rewarding things you're gonna ever have the pleasure of doing. It's one of the most rewarding things that you will ever have the pleasure of doing. Yeah, it's work, but it's not bad work. This is the work that is not only fulfilling to you and pleasing to your husband, but this is pleasing to the Most High as well, if that's a concern of yours. It's a concern of mine. So in Islam, there's a saying that says, if a woman dies while her husband is pleased with her, then she gets to enter heaven by any of its gates without reckoning. Meaning, I don't have to stand there and get judged. All I gotta do is the work of a wife and do it well. And my Lord will be so pleased with that he won't bother judging me on every item. He just gonna let me enter into paradise. You don't get no better than that. It's rewarding because you're fulfilled, and there's no money that can buy that feeling. Thank you, Great Britain. There's no money that can buy that feeling. No money can buy the feeling when he tell you, you the best thing that ever happened to me. And if I had to do it all over again, I would not choose another woman other than you. And that's while knowing all your shortcomings. That's while knowing you wasn't perfect. That's while knowing sometimes you got on his ever-loving nerve. That's with knowing that there was times where he thought, if I Bart Simpson choke up, I think I can get away with it. I think I can get away with it. That's with knowing all of that. And he still look you in your face and tell you, you the best thing happened to me. You know that? Because you prove yourself not only at the peak is easy, it's the valley. Because you keep proving it over time that I'm worth the time, I'm worth the toll, I'm as little trouble as I can possibly be, and I don't have no threats. He have to know for a fact that you worth them things. Thank you, Dr. Michelle, she always dropping these beautiful gems in the chat room. She said, you know how we ought to love the Lord and live right for him. Be devoted to following him completely, whether heaven is promised or not. Well, there's the guide for how we ought to love and serve the husband. Exactly. Exactly, Cat. Said he told me stop eyeballing his last nerve and he loved me though. They will. Okay, you gotta knock it off. I still love you, but you got to knock that off. You know how far you're going. You know how far you're going. And you know what line you don't supposed to cross neither. And you don't cross it. See, a real woman, a good woman, learn what her husband's boundaries are, not so she can cross them, but so that she can beware of them and not cross them. We making sure that I understand his boundaries so that he is not in danger of me crossing them. And I'm not going to let nobody else cross them either. Them kids can't even cross them. You better not. If what you say about your daddy? What? Huh? Did you say something about your daddy? I didn't think so. That man bust his butt to take care of you. I don't care nothing about he made you mad today. You said what? Right. Learn how to be a wife and you stay married. But you got to know what your role is and why you're there. Feminism got you thinking that you there to be served. And you not. You not. You supposed to do the serving. Not him. You. The serving is your job. Long as your rights get fulfilled and he treats you with kindness, you'll be all right. That's not none of his job to serve you. That's not his job. You thought that was his job, wasn't it? That's what your gynocrat mammy told you. That was his job. No, it's not. No, ma'am. And don't be calling yourself doing none of this stuff with your mouth long enough to suck peas out of a hot sauce bottle either, because that don't count. Don't nobody want nobody doing nothing for them and they don't want to do it. If you don't think that you should be serving your husband, don't be married. But you are supposed to serve. You done pledge fealty to this man. You don't pledge fealty to the king and then don't serve the crown. How you do that? How that happen? How you pledge fealty to the king and then don't serve the crown? That's treason. You realize that's high treason, don't you? You know what they do to traitors? Stay single. Stay uncovered, stay alone. If you don't believe that you're supposed to be in service to the king you pledge fealty to. When you serve your husband, let it be with a smile on your face. Smile. And not one of them fake, phony smiles. Do it because you like doing it, because you love him, because these things make the both of you happy. I did things for my husband because his pleasure was my pleasure. His displeasure was my displeasure. Anytime he was displeased or angry with me, I took that personally to the soul. And anything that I could do to correct that situation, I did it. For what? To bring back peace and balance and equilibrium to that relationship and to that household. I wanted the marriage. I wanted the husband. So I worked for the husband. I worked for the marriage. Now, I wasn't the only one putting in work for it. He worked for it too. But we ain't talking about him. We talking about us. And I don't care if he had money in his pocket or he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. He was the leader, and his pleasure was my pleasure. His displeasure was my displeasure. It was the same at the peak and the valley. Because you get into it for the long haul. What the vows say, till death do us part. Death. I'm going to have to go because I got to go pick this car up before they close. I want to stay longer. Because I like having these talks with the ladies. Because it's not enough of these talks that happen among women that understand how to be wives, that have been wives, are currently wives, or who want to be. There is a lesson in it. And I'm stressing that there's work because we're getting told nowadays that there is no work for women to do. There are no expectations. There are no standards that we actually have to meet in order to have successful relationships and successful marriages, and it is not true. However, anything that is worth having is worth working for, and it is worth working very diligently for it. Just the same as if you wanted to go and get your doctorate, you felt that it was worth the trouble and the time that it took and the sacrifices that it took in order to reach that level of your professional life. If you wanted to get a degree or get a doctorate or whatever, you felt it was worth it. That's why you did it. That's why you did it. It was worth all of that. The end result of you having it was worth all of that. So the marriage is the same thing. If you want a successful marriage, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take sacrifices. You sacrifice. You, woman, you sacrifice. You make the necessary changes. You. So that you can have the fulfillment that is designed for you. You have to stop letting the gynocracy tell you that a woman's work is stupid work, or it's not work, or he don't want you to do that, or he don't need you to do that. Just because men say I don't need her for my survival doesn't mean they don't want you. Because he gonna eat something. He'll go in there and fix him an egg sandwich. He'll be all right. Without you, he sure will. He figured out, he a big boy. He done figured out how to put his clothes on and tie his shoes and all that kind of. He didn't figure all of that out. He don't need you to do that. But he wants you around because you can assist. So why not take pleasure in that? Why not take pleasure in your work? Because as difficult as his work is, and the men can correct me before I leave, as difficult as he finds his work, it's not always easy just because he designed to do it. As difficult at times as he may find his work, he still finds it pleasurable because there's fulfillment in it for him when he do that work. And I'm just not talking just about the work of his job or career. I'm talking about the work as a man. Am I correct, sirs, or am I not correct? Thank you, Ebo Sosa. Said, excellent work. In the beginning stages of my marriage, our sexual compatibility was off. We were trying to please ourselves instead of each other. When we corrected that, then came the baby. Yes. They take fulfillment in their work because they're men and they like doing stuff that men do. Even if it become difficult, even if at times he's frustrated with it, even if at times it don't go exactly the way he wanted it, or he was trying to put the effort in, but it didn't quite turn out, blah, blah, blah. He still enjoys doing it. He still enjoys provision, having his foresight, problem solving, protecting stuff that he finds is his and that belong to him. He enjoys procreation for more than the obvious reasons. Because there's a fulfillment in him when he do that. He would do it anywhere. Don't let the gynocracy take your fulfillment like they've been doing for the last 70 years. Doing them things gives him purpose. Doing this stuff, serving our husbands, gives us purpose. It was nothing better than to sit back and watch him smile and be okay. And enjoy my cooking, or enjoy my conversation, or enjoy some help that I gave him, and whatever. It was nothing more like, Like, girl, you doing a good job. Girl, you doing a good job. You know? When he's sitting back chilling and all is right with the world, you can do that. You can sit there in your own little bubble and say, girl, you doing a good job. Girl, you doing a good job. Girl, you doing a good job. Like that new little meme. I think that meme is so hilarious. You doing a good job. Hey, you might be doing a good job. I really do gotta go. Dr. Michelle said, a good wife serving at the highest level is the greatest motivator for the husband's work. He will stay up late, knock out most of the difficult tasks, and keep going because he has an energized vision. Exactly. Like we give them the fuel to keep going. Because you're serving, you giving him inspiration, you are his biggest cheerleader, you are supporting, you are doing all of this stuff that he see it, and more importantly, he feel it. And he feel that it's being done for him out of a place of love, not out of a place of, well, she really can't stand it, but she doing it, but, I know she don't really like it, but he know you ain't doing it out of that. And that's important for him to feel and to know that my woman is doing what she's supposed to do, not because these are the dredges of what she need to do, but like she really enjoy me. She love me. This might have to be on continuation because I really, really, really do have to go. But I definitely enjoyed this conversation. I'm hoping that this helped someone, helped a young lady or something like that, so that we can start to understand what being a wife really is. It's not just about this opulent wedding day and the proposal and the dress and all of these types of things. It's the work after that's the most important. It's the marriage after that's the most important. Because what good is that opulent wedding if 2 years from now you're going to be divorced and miserable? Like, we got to do better than that. We have to do better than that. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to go. Oh, before I go, you got to be part of the A-Game family, right? So if you want to be part of the A-Game family, it's super, super easy. All you have to do is go down in the description box and click the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. And you can get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10 at checkout. And for guys, this is a male herbal solution. So it is only for guys, and it addresses your blood circulation, which helps you with vitality, strength, energy, and libido. So ladies, the same. If you want your man to be part of the A-Game family, all you got to do is hit the link and you can have your order of A-Game coming to you ASAP. And I want to thank everyone for coming through with the super chats, with the cash apps, and just with the wonderful conversation in the chat room. I really appreciate that. I want to thank you once again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.